Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ella, and before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my own hearing loss. It's relatively unsevere compared to many people's, and I only received my hearing aid around 4 years ago. However, I do have trouble hearing at school, as there are often many voices, and I can't always single out the one I am meant to be listening to. It can also affect me in other contexts, so it's more dangerous, for instance, for me to cross roads, because I can't tell which direction a car is coming from just by listening, and I can't hear deeper frequencies, only higher pitched ones. So whilst I don't sign myself, this is a topic I feel passionately about, and I hope you come away from today having thought about the issues a little bit more. I also hope that this isn't a completely new issue for you, as it is one that has been in the news a lot recently. In fact, just before Christmas, the government announced that British Sign Language is to be taught as a GCSE in England from September of 2025. This is a huge step following it being officially recognised as a language in the UK last year, after the British Sign Language Act came out. And if I'm excited about this, think about how Daniel Jillings must have felt. It is he who has fought a 5-year campaign since he was 12. Daniel was born profoundly deaf and without a cochlea, meaning he can't use hearing aids or cochlear implants. He has fought his campaign tirelessly with the aim of making deaf children feel less isolated and more included, as well as encouraging hearing children to gain a greater understanding of the deaf community. So from September of next year, schools across the country will be able to start preparing pupils for a GCSE in which they'll learn around 1,000 signs and have the confidence to communicate using BSL in everyday life. Like I said, this is a huge step, but it doesn't go far enough. If you want to see what that looks like, you'll have to go to Elmtree Primary School in Lowestoft, where they've decided to replace French and Spanish lessons with basic BSL tutoring. At Elmtree, every child receives free BSL tuition and are rapidly gaining confidence in using it in all sorts of contexts, whether that's performing as part of a signing choir alongside a singing one at the Christmas concert, or greeting each other at the supermarket on a Saturday. But Elmtree shouldn't be an isolated example of a school making such an important gesture of inclusivity in an education system that overlooks pupils with hearing loss, especially those that rely on signing to feel included and engaged. And don't let anyone convince you that BSL is insignificant because of the low numbers of those who speak it. The British Deaf Association estimates that around 151,000 people in the UK use British Sign Language, 7,000 of them being deaf. But that's not the point. We don't deny wheelchair users the right to public spaces just because there aren't that many of them. We don't deny blind people the right to take their guide dogs into shops just because they're in the minority. But we do hold young people back from socialising, participating in lessons, and becoming a fully integrated part of their school community by shutting them into a world of silence and isolation. In fact, I'm not asking for a favour here. I'm just asking the government to fulfil their legal obligations, because the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities actually emphasises the right to education for all, including those with disabilities, including those with hearing loss. And lastly, introducing BSL would not just impact signing students who are deaf. Studies have shown that using BSL can improve your memory, your spatial awareness, and your ability to multitask, so the cognitive benefits are there for everyone. Bayer will probably try to convince you that there aren't enough trained teachers who could teach it, or that there aren't enough resources. But what about the army of BSL speakers, some of whom have found it difficult to gain employment in the past, who will be ready and willing about the prospect of sharing a language of which they're very proud? Ladies and gentlemen, let's build on Daniel Jillings' achievement here. Let's start preparing children for that GCSE, and in doing so, equip every school in the country to be a place where signing pupils can feel welcomed and included. Thank you.